Tim Hughes here. I'm the CEO and co-founder of DLA Ignite. With me today, I've got Dan Tyre. Dan and I are going to talk about the inbound organization. Dan is also going to be telling some jokes. So hopefully they're going to be sort of like peppered through the discussion.
We're going to start right off now. Let's start with our
Let's
material
start
right
with a
up
joke,
front,
Dan.
Tim Hughes. All right, first of all, listeners, thanks so much for joining us. I'm super excited to be in the same Zoom with Tim, right, who is as funny as I am, right? And this is going to he's got the big energy. Oh, my goodness, the chat pane is blowing up. I knew that was going to happen, right? We're dressed the same. We're on different continents, but we're different sons of the same mother. No, this different mothers, same son.
You got the memo to wear black and glasses.
I know. Look at, I have my Hubspot Academy black T-shirt on, right? Always be learning on the back. And all right, let's start off with some jokes. What do you call a snarky inmate walking downstairs?
I don't know.
A condescending condescending. Very good. Scientists. I know scientists were okay. The chat pane is blowing up.
Here we go.
Goodness. I know. Sarah Gomez, Josh Wingate, thanks for joining us. The challenge is going to be, we only have 20 minutes, right? What Tim has like a rule. It's not really a guideline. Maybe it's a law. Is it Tim's law? You only do 25 minutes.
It's only 20. It's 20 minutes, Dan, because I found that people don't listen any longer than that.
Yeah, I like that. They're not listening now because I'm telling my jokes. But all right, we have some good content. We want to talk about the inbound organization. I want to make sure that our listeners get some value. No fluff. Want to get right to the point.
No fluff, Dan. Let's get in and talk about the inbound organization. Okay. What is it? Why do we need to do it?
2018, I wrote a book with Todd Hockenberry called The Inbound Organization. And when I started at HubSpot 15 years ago, we were just laughing about this. I've been a 15-year veteran at HubSpot, which is amazing. I had a 30-year career as an entrepreneur, 4 startups, right, previously. And then my fourth startup was Brian Halligan. He asked me to join HubSpot in 2007. So I joined as the first salesperson. And it was fascinating because we were talking about big tech companies and the challenges of big tech companies. When we started at HubSpot, right, it was an extraordinary company. It's a mission-driven. It was innovative at the time. And back then, it was inbound marketing. And have you heard the term inbound marketing? Yeah, it's all about tricking out your website so that you can generate more leads. So you'd have landing pages and blogs and things like that. And that's what it was. It was very innovative at the time. It sounds like quaint.
I think HubSpot coined the phrase or something.
They did.
I'm sure you did. Yeah.
Brian Halligan and Dharmesh Shah, the co-founders of HubSpot, wrote the book, right? David Meerman Scott, an advisor to HubSpot, wrote a book called The New Rules of PR and Marketing in 2006, and was the first to use the word inbound in print. And I have an email from Mike Volpe, our CMO at the time, to David Meerman Scott going, we just started a software company based on this concept. Right. And David, who remains a great friend, was he's like, yeah, go for it. And now 15 years later, HubSpot has 160,000 paying customers, has 7,000 employees worldwide, and sold in 120 companies. And but the innovation still exists. Right. And this inbound marketing was fascinating because it had these attributes of a sales process that people like. And then when we started selling via the inbound process, it became inbound schmarketing. Have you ever heard the term schmarketing?
I have actually, yes.
Yes, I invented that term.
You invented it, didn't you?
I know, of course. All these little things you're picking up. That's why we need more than 20 minutes, but you'll have to ask me back next time. Schmarketing was sales. Some people think it's smart marketing, but it's a sales marketing pushed together. And
there's also a book about it.
Ooh, look at that. A little product placement. I like that, Tim Hughes. Nothing gets by you. Super fun. And right, schmarketing is the way in which you engage today. And as I was looking at this on the front lines, managing teams for HubSpot, right, I realized that the attributes of inbound applied to the entire organization. It was really leadership principles rather than just tactics, like creating landing pages and call to action things. And so I outlined them. Todd and I outlined the book. I was speaking to the North American Association of Tool and Die Manufacturers. And do you have tool and die manufacturers over in the UK?
We probably do still.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you got tons of them. And for those of you who are not manufacturing or industrial people, that is when you're drinking out of a coffee cup or a microphone. I guess you don't drink out of a microphone, or a stapler. When you create something or buy something, right? It's made with a mold, right? The manufacturers and a tool and die company will create this, and they're the nicest people in the world. And I was trying to explain inbound, and they were super nice about it, but they were scratching the chin, going, "What the heck are you talking about?" And I'm like, okay. Right. We got to explain it in a way in which everybody would understand it. So, number one, the first rule of the inbound organization, if you got to treat people like human beings.
Yep.
Right? Easy or hard to treat people like human beings, Tim, in 2022?
It should be easy, I would have thought.
Yeah, but it's not, right? You're a human being, right? You laugh at all my jokes, whether you find them funny or not. That's being a nice guy. And you're known as returning your phone calls, helping people out. I don't think you have a mean bone in your body. If you do, I haven't found it yet. And like treating people like human beings means you don't spam them, means you don't like cold call them, means that you are very reverential and respectful of them as like where they are. Number two, and this was an innovation from Hubspot, you help, not sell, or you help first and then you sell. And if somebody calls you up and wants to sell you something, how do you feel?
I hate it.
Yeah. But if somebody calls you and say, Tim, I want to increase your LinkedIn live audience by 200%, and I want to help you do that, how do you feel then?
You might listen to what they're going to say.
Exactly. And with just a little bit of research, if I know where you are, if I know that you're a DLA, if I know you're a cyclist, right? I can cycle in and, do you see what I just did there? Right? I can cycle in because I looked at your LinkedIn this morning. I saw that you have a background in, is it 20 years of cycling?
You did look at my LinkedIn, yeah.
Yeah, I know. And so it's super easy. As soon as I see everybody's watching this, as soon as I said cycling, Tim's eyebrows went up. Even though we're wearing the same glasses, I could see that. And he's like, oh my goodness, you did research me. And that's not that hard. It took me 20 seconds. I'm like, oh, I can work this into the approach. And right, if I help you, if I know how, and it's not that hard to understand how you can help somebody. Yep. Right. If you help first, then all of a sudden there's actually serotonin in your brain. Simon Sinek talks about this all the time. Now it's a whole different conversation. And you and I could be talking about cycling or the World Cup or social media or schmarketing. And it's just like having coffee, right? It's just like connecting at a very human level. That's important. Number three, this is an important one. Focus beats bandwidth. In the old days, 2017, you could be a generalist. You could go after a horizontal and it wasn't that big a deal. Right now, the riches are in the niches. Or if you're listening in the UK, if you want to go to the beaches, you have to work the niches, right? And
in the niches. It's riches in the niches, yes.
I know. I've worked London before. I have a whole shtick of
do you have special jokes for London?
I do. I have, when I was speaking in London last with my friend Clewid, right? He's like, you have to have curated British humor. I'm like, what is British humor? And how would you define British humor?
Everybody says Monty Python.
Very good. It's self-depreciating.
We love irony and
exactly. And so I put up a picture of a gravestone, which is not always a good look in a public presentation. And on the gravestone, it said, I told you I was sick. Right. And everybody laughed. They thought it was hilarious, which I got it from Google Images. It took me like 10 seconds. And I'm like, okay, if you're going to laugh at all my jokes, you're just like a North American audience. There's nothing here. All right. But the riches are in the niches, right? Because, right, the acceleration of value, right? We don't have a lot of time. In fact, we only have 8 minutes left. So if you're focused on things where you know the value proposition, where you know the seasonality, where you know the competitive advantage, right? Then it becomes much easier for you to provide greater value, right? In 2023, when people are a little worried about an economic recession, right? Yep. If you are working with folks that are an extension of your community or people that you like talk to all the time, when you talk to my buddy Todd, what you hear is he's an industrial guy. He's a manufacturing guy, right? And you know it right when he walks in the room. It's kind of amazing. But understanding your customer needs, seasonality, vocabulary, all of that stuff, the riches are in the niches, and it really makes sense in 2022. All right, number 4 is solve for the customer, right? And that's very hard because customers are always so more demanding right? Driven by, you can get any app you want on your phone, right? It's blended over to B2B. So customers expect, right, that you're going to respond very quickly. That's why everybody should have a chatbot on their website. They expect that you're going to respond in social media. That's why you're a leader in helping people understand that social media isn't extraneous. It's the core of creating that community. And just like we're exhibiting now, helping rather than selling is important. Then focus on relevant data. Number 5 of the inbound organization, right? In 2022, in the old days, right, we couldn't measure anything. It was all gut feel, right?
Yep.
Now you can measure everything. You can measure attribution of content. We're going to find out whether we got hundreds of people or thousands of people listen to this stream, whether they like the jokes or don't like the jokes, if they fall off as soon as I stop giving the jokes or whatever. And that data.
Maybe they just turn up for the jokes, Dan.
I know. That's why I didn't put them all in the first 2 minutes, right?
I know. What you're doing deliberately, aren't you? Is that we're going to have like 8 minutes of jokes at the end.
Ooh, I like that. All right. We only have 9 minutes left, so I don't think we can achieve that. But, right, focus on relevant data. And you have to be able to access that data. You have to understand which data is important. And then it changes all the time. I just saw a good blog article from my friend Rakafit in Israel. She's like, everything you did in 2022 is likely to evolve in 2023. Don't rely on just watching the same kind of metrics. Really understand what the deep metrics are. And then the 6th part of inbound organization is to build your flywheel.
Ted's comment here. He's only here for Dan's jokes.
Okay, I told you that was going to happen, and Ted's probably heard them like a million times before, but they're all the same. That was Dan Sally. I used to think up new jokes all the time, which was hard.
And people don't like new jokes. They want the old ones.
I know. They want the old chestnuts. I think that's a UK phrase. They want the greatest hits.
Thank you very much. I was gobsmacked when you said that.
Boom! All right. What we want to do is we want your heart beating like a chain smoker running a marathon. We want you to be happier than a raccoon on trash day. We want to make sure that you are listening to this important stuff that Tim and I are talking about, the inbound organization. Right? You can get the book on Amazon. Todd Hockenberry was a great co-author, perhaps the greatest co-author in the history of books, right? He was patient. He was kind. He did all the outlay. And I thought writing a book was just like talking, right? And it's nothing like talking. Right?
Ted says he never tires of Dan's jokes.
I know. Are you in Australia, Ted? I know. They're using the Australian. Is that the way you spell tire in the UK? Tyre or is it Tire? I probably shouldn't know.
No, that's how we spell tire. That's actually a tire as in a car.
Yeah. I could probably do a whole 10 minutes on that, but I don't have time. All right. I want to talk about the HubSpot flywheel.
We did the focus on the relevant data, which is number 5.
Yeah. Number 6 is to build your flywheel. The HubSpot flywheel is got the customers in the middle, and your competitive advantage is your customers, right? In 2000, I think it was 15, Brian Halligan and Dharmesh Shah, right, talked at the Inbound conference about your customers being more impactful for future business than your sales team, right? And there's a little nuance to that, but if you have happy customers, right, it builds on yourself. It builds on the ability for you to make a huge impact in the universe. Right. And if you don't have happy customers in 2022, it's going to be a short kind of business model, because
it's going to be short 2023.
Exactly. Because, right, when people are a little bit more discriminate in what they invest in, right, they're really looking for community. Right. HubSpot talks about the age of the disconnected customer. Right. And that is a very real thing. Following 3 years of the global pandemic, following like Zoom fatigue, following all of these issues, right, there are changes in the original inbound marketing process where people aren't dropping contact information quite so frequently. People aren't completing the process for emails. There's all of these different changes. Right. And your community can change all that. Right. So the HubSpot flywheel is about building strong relationships and then being knowledgeable and thoughtful about expanding that to a community. And Tim, you've got an unbelievable community, right? When we were coming together, you said that your community was mid-market kind of folks and sales and marketing folks who wanted to hear about the inbound organization and why it's so important. Yes. Right. And if you do not have those 6 foundations, right, as like leadership principles, right? Todd has famous for his quote of saying, to practice inbound, you need to be inbound, right? You have to have that process. And one of the great things about the HubSpot and HubSpot Academy is that we walk the walk, right? HubSpot has a culture code. Have you ever heard of the HubSpot culture code?
I haven't heard of it, no.
Okay, you can just Google it. There's 4 million people who've downloaded the HubSpot culture code, and the acronym is HEART, right? H stands for humble, although my H is lowercase, right? E is empathetic, right? Which is a change. We changed that a few years ago. It used to be effective, right? And changed to empathetic, which I think is, that's Katie Burke, who's an amazing executive. And she was right in understanding how you deal with other people being important. A is achieve, right? Making sure that you're achieving. R is remarkable, right? And then a T is transparent. And that is ingrained in everybody. And in the interview process at HubSpot, if you're not familiar with HEART, right, we're scratching our chins. Exactly. And right, that ability to hire people that have that focus, who have that understanding, who have that like a big heart to be able to apply that internally to solve problems and as well as externally to help customers grow better is the foundation of at least part of our success. So those are the foundations of the inbound organization. They're leadership principles. They're important for people to understand. There's a variety of tactics that go behind that, right? But I think that in 2023, is as impactful as it was when we wrote the book in 2018. It just comes to the forefront and showcases how every business is a people business.
Dan, that's been fantastic. You did that, and I don't think you you took a breath, did you, the whole time that you
yeah, but I got A wrong. It's A is adaptable. Right? I can't believe I did that. I have my Evernote right in front of me, for crying out loud. Thank you very much.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's coming through as LinkedIn user. I don't know who. I don't know who that is.
I know. Well, you're getting new members for your tribe, which is great, Tim. That's one of the things that we want to do when we just up
if LinkedIn user, if you contact me, I can tell you how. I can explain to you technically how. Next time, if you ever do a restream, you don't come through as LinkedIn user.
Ooh, wow, adding more value. I like that.
Absolutely. Anyway, it's you've got to help people, haven't you, Dan?
Yeah, you do. That is the foundation of the inbound organization, and you see that some people do it and embrace it. Right today in the United States, it's Giving Tuesday, right, which is all about helping folks in underserved communities. And it's just a great way of everybody understanding that it's not all about just making money. Right. It's about helping fellow human beings. It's about leaning into your passions. It's about understanding, and everybody can help. There are so many ways that anybody, regardless of your economic circumstances, regardless of where you are financially, right? You just smile at somebody. You just offer to hold open the door. You just call somebody today. Based on Tim Hughes and Dan Tyre, call somebody you haven't talked to in 10 years and just say, you know what? I was just thinking about you. And they'd be like, what? First of all, if they pick up their phone, that's pretty interesting.
Do it.
I know. Second of all, they're like, what are you thinking about me about? And like, I was thinking about that time we walked in the park. I was thinking about that time we worked on that project. I was thinking about anything. Right. And it's a great way to rekindle a positive like atmosphere and to take a walk down memory lane. Right. I love doing that just out of the blue. We haven't talked in 10 years. And they're like, who are you? I'm like, Dan, we worked together at ALI and InfoImage. They're like, okay, that's amazing. Yes. And then you catch up for 10 minutes and you're like, okay, if I could be of service, that's the Dan Tyre thing. If you go to dantyre.com, right, trying to do the most good for the universe. Right. And at this stage of my life, the most fun that I have is helping other folks. Right. And HubSpot gives me a huge platform to be able to do that. So I now work after 14 years at HubSpot in sales, right? I moved to HubSpot Academy, working with Courtney Sembler, running the cohort-based training program, right? We have community boot camps, we have RevOps boot camps, we have all these kind of boot camps that are super impactful. And they're free for HubSpot solutions partners and customers, right? All HubSpot software starts at free, so you can become a HubSpot customer very, very easily. And we're pleased to be able to teach folks. HubSpot Academy is 400 certifications and lessons, 400 of them, all for free. Go to HubSpot Academy. You'll see all that information, and it's just doing more good for the universe.
That's fantastic. Dan?
Boom! We hit it right on the
5,
dot.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
Time out.
Okay. Yeah, the
Thank you,
community
Dan.
one is pretty great. Thank you, Josh Wingate. Josh is part of the instructor pod who teaches that, right? Josh, put that in the LinkedIn notes below. So if people want to sign up for it, you're almost sold out, I think. It runs in January, but it's a great way of curating your community. And Josh and Dan Moyle and Molly Righetti are experts in building a community, and they're going to offer a lot of value. And super excited.
Fantastic. And Josh, and if you can put that in the in LinkedIn, that would be great, because then people can actually, you know, we get people watching this. We're doing this live, but we get people coming back and watching it, and then those people can actually pick up on it and obviously get access to it, and that would be fantastic. So yeah, appreciate it.
Boom! All right, Tim, that was super fun.
Yeah, Dan, that was amazing. Thank you very much. And if people want to find you, they can find you at dantyre.com. You're Dan Tyre on LinkedIn, Twitter.
Yeah, connect with me. I'm a super connector, right? I got 25,000 or so connections. And if I can be of service, right, I get a handful of pings every day, which I'm happy to manage and curate, right? A little bit based on seasonality and how much time that I have. Sometimes I have to delegate a little bit, but happy to support in any way possible. And if you make it easy, if you follow those rules, right? If you treat people like a human being, no spam. If you connect with me and then send me a non-customized email, right? I'll just remove the connection, right? You're not part of understanding what it's like to do business today. But if you say, I looked at your profile, I see that you're doing this, this, and this, and I need help with this, I'll do everything I possibly can to help, which is what you want from anybody in your community.
Or if they say, I saw the Dan Tyre Tim Hughes show. I thought it was amazing. Can we connect?
I bet you lots of people are going to say that. Yeah, Tim, you're expanding my reach, right? And you are an expert in social media. You are an expert at the schmarketing process, right? And you're a damn fine human being. So happy to spend 20 minutes.
Thank you very much. And there's a Josh, put the link into the events.academy.hubspot.com.
Good. All right, Josh, put the one in for regular Academy as well, HubSpot Academy, and you'll save me a little bit of trip. And anything in regard to entrepreneurship, sales, marketing, all of the HubSpot Academy classes are free, right? And it's super fun. It's you take them online, right? The boot camps are limited availability based on slots, but you'll see there's lots of boot camp options there as well.
Fantastic.
Boom. All right, Tim, very nice
to
talk with you today, and look forward to doing another program in 2023.
Yeah.